The light from the sun is absolute. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So why do I keep on about it? Why do I keep on about the light from the sun being absolute? Because it is, isn't it? Really, that's the main reason. Oh, ah. What do we have? What choices do we have? 299,792,000. I wish somebody do something about this board. 792, 458 meters per second. Right? Hell of a number. And then the underdog, when we're talking about the amount of people that think it's absolute, but it's a powerhouse when the facts come to light, I believe, right? So let's play the game. One point, we'll go through a bunch of reasons why one or the other, and we'll rack up some points. So, can I go first, seeing as I'm the outsider? If I could go first, please, okay? Because of what's in the sky. All right. If you brought someone who had no idea about speed of light or anything, you know, no calculations, not much science, just, you know, a bit of common sense and stuff, and you said to them, look, the sun, how long do you think it takes for the light to reach planet Earth from there? Now, what do you think they would say? Do you think they'd say, oh, I don't know, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes? I don't know, 8 minutes, 20 seconds? Or do you think they'd say, oh, it seems like it's here, it's pretty instant, isn't it? It's like it's delay. So 1 point for absolute. I'm going to try to be objective, but obviously I'm very, not biased. I like to think that I use logic and common sense, so I should be objective about this, right? The only reason I wouldn't be objective is because of the characters that you meet on the way. Kind of gets you a little bit heated under the collar sometimes. Right, let's think of one. What have we got? Around us every day, we all know science, absurdity lovers, we all know what we're talking about here. So where do we find something in light that we have every day around us, the sun, where you'd say, yeah, look, there you go. There's that delay. I just noticed something not quite right. What have we got? What have we got that points towards light travelling at 299,792 kilometres per second? Or 299,792,458 metres per second. What have we got? Now, I am being objective. I can't think of anywhere where I see any kind of delay. For me, light is light. Boom! Okay, so no, I can't think of one right now, but one might come. So should we go? We have to go absolute again. I'm sure there's a few more. How about the eclipse? When we saw that eclipse in the US, right? Saw the eclipse in the US. Well, don't judge my bloody... Goes down, right? We know what we're doing. Kind of. All right. Canada's up here somewhere. You know what I'm... South America, alright? Big Gulf of Mexico though, isn't it? Alright. Canada. Alaska and all that. Right? So, did we not have an eclipse where the sun and the moon moved from southwest did it not take like 90 minutes or something? Alexa, how long did the eclipse in April in the US take? How long did it take?
On the 9th of April 2024 at 11:18 a.m., the eclipse's maximum duration was 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
4 minutes and 28 seconds. It looked like the moon in front of the sun, right? Something like that, right? Now, it said this 8 minutes and 20 second delay, right? So the sun will be up here, right? So let's put it here. So it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach the moon, right? So how is it even possible that both the moon and the sun stayed in the full eclipse of the sun mode from here to there? And Alexa, how long did it take for the eclipse in April to go from Mexico to Canada? How long did it take for the shadow to cross the US?
From FortWorthBusiness.com. It took just 1 hour, 40 minutes for the moon's shadow to race more than 4,000 miles across the continent.
40 minutes. Sorry about this absolute. 40 minutes. 4,000 miles. Right? 40 minutes, 4,000 miles. That's 64,000 kilometers. For 40 minutes, they stayed like that. Right? Wherever the moon went, the shadow of the moon was in front of the sun, right? So whatever it doesn't matter what sun was here, because the moon is obviously shifting, moving faster. So it didn't matter where you were in the US, right? If you were in this line here, right? If you were one of the people who were lucky enough to see the sun get blocked out by the moon, you would have seen the moon bang over the sun. And that followed, like that, all the way up. You could have had a motorbike or how fast? 4,000 miles, about 3,000 miles an hour. Okay, if you could drive 3,000 miles an hour, and you looked up, you would have been in the full eclipse of the sun mode for the whole 40 minutes. Now, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? The moon, the sun's there, the moon's here, and wherever the moon went, the shadow that was created by the sun was always in the full eclipse zone. That means it doesn't matter where the moon went, the shadow. Right, moon's here, sun's way out here. Oh, I can use that mirror. Okay, so that's the sunlight. Audi token. No. Right? And the moon, I'll do. That's what people could see, wasn't it? That shadow, that was the shadow that went up. Now what is happening here? The moon was going really fast, wasn't it? Right? The sun may as well be static because it's so far away, right? And it's us spinning on our axis. But actually, it's like if the board started to move, because the moon still moves, but the majority of the movement we see is because of the spinning on our axis. So as we spun that way, the moon, the whole moon stayed in shadow of the sun, or the, you know what I mean? Now what does that mean? If the moon had gone this way, everybody down there would see the full eclipse of the sun. If it had gone that way, or straight down, they see the full eclipse of the sun. Now, if there's an 8-minute and 20-second delay, when the moon is here, like let's say it's here, right? The sun, that shadow there that's being created right there, it's taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds for that actual sunlight to be casting that shadow, which means the sun is already gone that way, no, gone this way. So how is it even possible that the shadow stayed over the US? Because it's always going to be 8 minutes and 20 seconds behind the sun. How is it possible that it stayed? And wherever the moon went, it was a full eclipse of the sun. Everybody down in this channel saw the full eclipse of the sun. It didn't matter where the moon went or how fast it was going, right? It was always a full eclipse of the sun. That means that the sun's light doesn't take 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here, because if it did, when that moon is blocking the sun's light out, it's already moved. So how is it possible that they stayed in the same path for 40 minutes? There is only one explanation, and that is the light from the sun is absolute, it's instant, isn't it? Cannot be a delay. It's illogical. It's actually illogical. It doesn't make sense for there to be a light delay when you think about it. How can there be a light delay? It does not make sense. It's one of those absurdities. It doesn't make sense. So, we're going to give Absolute another point. Don't understand the science? That's the trouble, see? They say that when we look up at the sun, we're seeing it as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. So when that sun is being blocked out by the moon, right, and it's full eclipse of the sun, what they're telling us is that sun is already 8 minutes and 20 seconds away from where it seems to be. It's not there. The moon is not blocking out the sun because it's already 8 minutes and 20 seconds in another direction. If that is the case, how is it that they stayed for 40 minutes like that? Wherever it went, the moon cast its whole shadow of the sun. You tell me that the sun followed it? Or what did it do? You're seeing the sun as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. You're seeing that moon covering a sun that was there 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Excuse me? When you look at the sun, you're seeing it as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. That is what they say. So how is it even possible for the moon to have been smack bang over the sun for 40 minutes? How? How can there be a delay? How can the sun always have been just a little bit further away, a little bit further away? They would have moved further and further and further apart, but they didn't. The sun, its light is absolute. So wherever the moon goes, it casts an instant shadow. Not a shadow of a sun that's 8 minutes and 20 seconds somewhere else. That's illogical. That means that when everybody was looking at this, right? So the moon's covering the sun. What that means is that sun, when you're looking at this image, oh look, the moon is covering the sun, bang on. What they're saying is the sun is already really over here. So what you're seeing is impossible, isn't it? What you're seeing, it's physically impossible, because by the time that sunlight reaches the moon, 8 minutes and 20 seconds have passed. So that means when this full eclipse of the sun is happening, right, the sun is already 8 minutes and 20 seconds somewhere else. What do they say again? When you look at the sun, you're seeing the sun as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. It cannot be. Well, you know what? It's one of these stupid things again, like copper hand tools. It is. Right? So how do you explain it? Oh yeah, look, the moon's covering the sun. When you see the sun, you're seeing it as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. So, it's not really there. It's already, the moon's gone that way, right? So it's that way. That's the science, right? Can you work that out or not? It is a little bit testy. It's a little bit testy. The sun. The moon is coming, right? Moon going in that direction. The sun is moving a lot slower. We are spinning on our axis, right? That way, anti-clockwise. So the sun seems to be going like that. And so does the moon, but the moon obviously goes faster, right? Because it's closer. So that's why it goes shoo, because we're spinning, shoo, right? So it's here. Let's say half an hour to go, 30 minutes before the full eclipse of the sun. What they say is, when you look at the sun, you're seeing a sun that was there 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. What you're looking at now, right? When we look at this sun, this is what they say. You're looking at that sun, but we see it there, but it's actually already 8 minutes and 20 seconds further down in the sky. So go work that logic out. Look. Right. So, when the moon gets closer, right, 17 minutes to go. Closer. 9 minutes to go. And it starts. So as soon as it hits the sun there, right? But that sun that you are looking at is already over here. Isn't it? It's already over here. It's always 8 minutes and 20 seconds ahead of where we think it is, right? Because that's how long it takes for its light to get here, horseradish. So as the moon slowly covers the sun, right? Let's say when it was there, the sun really, it looks like that, but the sun has already shifted. It's over here, isn't it? Right? And when the moon finally covers the whole sun up, right? It only takes 1.3 seconds. So the moon is only shifted a load of horseradish, right? So let's rub the rest of this out now. So when that moon finally covers the sun up, and it's every day, yeah, look, it's a full eclipse, look, look, look. The sun is being covered by the moon, 100%. We can see the corona, people, right? And it does, doesn't it? It does that little glow, right? But that little glow, it cannot be live, because when we look up at that, it's already 8 minutes and 20 seconds further ahead. So when people are seeing this, the sun is really, unfortunately people, okay, the sun is already here, right? Because when you look up at the sun in the sky, you're seeing the sun as it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. They say that over and over. So, when you see the moon covering that sun, the sun really is here. So what you're seeing is a little blast of 8 minute and 20 second old light. Tell me how that's logical. It's impossible. It's so, I want to do the F-bomb, it's so ridiculous, right? But just like the copper hand tools, we believe it, right? When the it's 2, right? When the moon is in front of the sun, right, when we see that full eclipse of the sun, you are seeing it as it is. It's happening there. The sun is right behind the moon. The moon has moved right in front of the sun, and its absolute instant light is casting the shadow that ran up the US, because it didn't matter where the sun was. It did not matter where the sun was. The shadow followed anybody who was in that path, saw basically the moon passing in front of the sun live. There is no delay. There can be no delay. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? Telescopes prove that. You can look up at the moon covering the sun with a telescope, right? And see, we're actually talking about something here, right? That this has already slam dunked. It's absolute light. There is no delay, right? With telescopes, people are looking with the naked eye, and with telescopes, people are taking photos. It doesn't matter whether it's with the naked eye, with a close-up looking telescopic camera, right? Zooming lenses, everybody sees the same thing. The moon in front of the sun. Where's the delay coming from? Where's the delay? When does it kick in? Right? It doesn't ever. When the planets line up, we've got Venus in the sky now. I don't know if the others are on their way. You've got Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, right? They line up in the sky, don't they? And it's on the news, and get all these little warnings online. 4 planets lining up in the night sky. If you look due east at this time or that time, and every now and again, they all line up. Not 100%, but if you're looking, we're here, right? The sun's that way, behind us. It's night time, because the sun is shining on the other part of Earth, so we're in the dark. We look up and you can see, let's say, Venus in the night sky, nice and shiny, right? And then you've got Mars, well, forget Mercury, it's probably red. Then you've got Mars, right? And just in the night sky, a bit smaller. Jupiter, right, and Saturn, orange again, right? So you see them, everybody's like, oh, look, I can see them there. But, Alexa, how long does it take for sunlight to reach Mars?
From 9planets.org, it takes about 13 minutes for light to reach Mars from the sun.
13, right? Jupiter, 43. Saturn, it's an hour 20. Right? Now, Mars would be 13, so where we are here, right? Kind of us here, right? We're looking that way. Takes 3 minutes to get to Venus, right? Remember, sun's here, right? Nighttime, daytime. It takes 13 minutes to get to Mars. It takes 3 minutes to get to Venus. And the reason that we are not there is because we are there. Our orbit is 180 degrees away from them, if you know what I mean. That's why we see Venus. It's in retrograde, so it's in front of, or it's behind the sun, but we see it. If you know what I mean. It's that close, right? It's closer to the sun than us, but because the sun's behind us, it looks like it's further away, right? So 3 minutes, 13 minutes to get to Mars, but that means it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for us. 8 minutes and 20. That's so stupid. It really is, right? 8 minutes and 20. Boom. And then another 5 minutes to get to Mars, and then another 5 minutes for the reflection to get back to us. So that Mars, we're not going to bother with Venus because it's like 6 minutes out. Mars is going to be 8 minutes, that's 5, it's 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes further away than it really is. So when people see these planets lined up, they're not really, this is all old news. It's all happened, it's old, it's like an echo, right? Jupiter. Hang on, Venus. Oh, God. That's Mars there. 13 minutes, right? So, 8 minutes and 20, and then another 5 minutes to Mars. But before we see it, it's got to bounce back to us. That's what they say. The light has to get to Mars, the sun has to hit Mars, and then we have to wait another 5 minutes for it to come and hit us. So we then see it. What a load of rubbish, right? It just is. Our eyesight goes straight to the source, the end. It doesn't matter how far away a star is. If you're seeing it, it's because it's there. It's not old light. It's not old light, people. 43 minutes for the light of for the sun's light to get to Jupiter. 8 minutes and 20, so it takes another 35 minutes, right? And then another 35 back. So that's 70. That's an hour and 10. So when you see Jupiter, it's already an hour and 10 gone, right? It's not really there. When you look up with a telescope, you're not looking at Jupiter. You're looking at Jupiter as it was an hour and 10 ago. Saturn, an hour 20. Takes 8 minutes and 20 to us. So an hour 20 minus 8:20, let's just call it 110, right? So it's 110 minutes. That's 1 hour and 50 minutes. And then it's going to be another 1 hour and 50 minutes the other way. So that's 110, that's 220 minutes. That is 220 minutes is divided by 6 is goes 3, 18 and 2, 20, so 30, 3 hours 30, 3.5 hours for crying out loud. 3.5 hours. So when you see Saturn in the sky, right, you're seeing it as it was 3.5 hours away. How are people falling for this rubbish? How are people falling for this rubbish? Right? If you've got a telescope, mine should be coming tomorrow. I'll come for another one. You're looking through a telescope and you're looking at any planet that you can see, right? It's there. It's there. It isn't 3 hours further down the road. It's illogical. It's stupid, right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But one needs to be able to think, to work it out. God, that sun's hot. So there you have it. Give ourselves another one. So is anybody yet? How are we looking for 299,000? Not too good, is it? And I'm being objective. These are facts. These are facts. Do any of the newspapers, does anybody, even the science folk, right? Do the scientists, when these planets are lined up, do you hear them saying, hey, yo, they're not really, that's over there, and that is Saturn's gone. 3 hours away. Why don't they ever mention it? When there's a full eclipse of the sun, why doesn't someone mention that? Why does nobody bring it up? Oh, by the way, everyone, the sun is really, it's not, what you're looking at is an illusion, right? It's not an illusion, people, right? It's like the pyramids. Do you believe what you see or what you hear about what you're looking at, right? It is highly illogical. It is so ridiculous again, right? The more I do this, the more it's like, people, what are you thinking? It's obvious that the sun's light is absolute. It's obvious. I know the calculation that gives the 299 in edge, doesn't it? The calculation that proves how it was done. So if we put that up there, well, at least you get a point. Calculation, please. Somebody, the calculation that proves the light from the sun is a propagated wave that is travelling 299,792 kilometers per second, please. I'm going to need that equation. Like I said, it's a specific number, isn't it? 458 meters, 299,792,458 meters. How was that worked out? Where's the speedo that timed that? Honestly, these things, right, are so stupid. It's a test. They make you believe this. They make you believe anything. Instead of the pyramids, the moon. Everything's so easy. They can do the pyramids. If we went to the moon, it's easy. Not the drama at all. Everything's a piece of cake. And they've got a probe up nearby the sun, taking photos and stuff. Doesn't seem to be having any trouble sending footage back either. It's not bad going since it's quite close to the sun. Anyway, so the equation that, sorry then, we don't need an equation. It's absolute light. It's obvious. It's absolute. It's instant. There's no delay. So what else have we got? I mean, this was what? In the sky, then we had the eclipse. What else have we had? The planets lining up, planets. Then there was some disagreement about something, and it was like a bonus point, wasn't it? Just because it's obviously absolute. Then we had, what came next? The planets. I'm not taking too many points, am I? Oh, I rubbed too off. I'm not going to be cheating. I mean, it's obvious where all the points are going to go. Oh, no. Then one for the equation. Or for the lack of an equation. Alright. So have we got anything? Do you have an equation? No. But we won't go into the minus, that's not fair. So it's just like this number, isn't it? But it's got nothing really, All right, let's look at the ways that they say speed of light was discovered. The first one, Romer. Mr. Romer, right? Mr. Romer is the sun. There's the sun, there's Earth, and there's Io, and we'll call that, right? So we've got the sun there, Earth is here, Jupiter, the big red planet, is up here, right? Scale, it's like 5 times the distance that Earth is from the sun, right? And Io is playing hide and seek, and it's orbiting Jupiter. It's only 1/38th the diameter of Jupiter, so it's tiny, right? It's tiny. If Jupiter was 38 millimeters, 3.8 centimeters, Io would be 1 millimeter, 1/38th. So Romer, it is said, there's Io, right? There's Jupiter. He took readings when Io came out from behind Jupiter, right? Impossible with those telescopes back in that day. And knowing that Io is only 1/38th of the diameter of Jupiter, and it's orbiting Jupiter at 420,000 kilometers, which is 30 more than our moon is from us, it's quite obvious that you'd never, ever make it out. You'd never see it. You'd need some kind of NASA telescope. I have looked at this before, and the telescope is on its way, and we'll have a look again. You cannot see Jupiter, especially with a 1700s telescope. It's ridiculous. So it said that he took measurements when we were closest to Jupiter, and then when it was at its furthest from Jupiter, right? He took measurements. And the further away we were from Jupiter, the later there's a delay in him seeing Io. So he thought, it's the further I am away, the longer it's taking for the light of the sun to go up, bounce off of Jupiter and come back down to us. So as we moved away, the light took longer and longer and longer and longer. It is an absurdity. It just is. First of all, he was using a telescope. A telescope, right? You don't look into the past, unfortunately, with a telescope. If light was travelling at 299,792 kilometers per second, yeah, you would, because you would look at the sun and go, well, it's taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here. But so far, that's looking extremely unlikely, right? And these are the facts. I'm being objective, right? It's ridiculous. So, Roma did not. They say he was the cornerstone. The cornerstone of the speed of light. Working out the speed of light, right? The actual cornerstone didn't do it. It's ridiculous. It's like the Egyptians building the pyramids. It cannot be done. It couldn't be done back then. Do you get second opinions? Do you go and ask people that know, professionals? Not the scientists. You need neutral answers. You need people who are objective and who tell the truth, who aren't parts of the wheels in the cogs of the machine, cogs in the wheels of the machine. God, sun's hot. I do love it though. So, cornerstone. Roma's the cornerstone. The discovery of the speed of light, but he didn't do it. James Bradley, aberration, right? He went out one night and he was going to do something, and he realized that the stars he was looking at, there is, fuck knows how, right? Because how did he realize, how did he think that, oh, I'm looking at that star, but maybe it's not there? That's the virtual, but the actual position is probably there. Now, because the sun and the earth is moving at such a no, he did not discover aberration one evening, because it's complicated. It's very complicated. And they do radiate their light at absolute speed. So why would anybody expect to see any aberration? Oh, it's not really there, it's over here. It's not. We're still waiting for it to get 1 point, right? So he didn't discover aberration. So we're going to take another one for the Roma, minus Roma. So it's a plus for us, right? Because it is a lie. And until you've tried it, do not comment. It wouldn't be right, would it? So when you've got yourself a telescope, go to your friend's house who's got a telescope, Get together, have a let's find Io party and see if you can spot Io. Roma did 400 years ago. Surely you can do it. All the brains that there is here. I mean, it really does get quite frustrating. So we're taking another point. Aberration. We're not going to take one, but it's just an absurdity that you can't really pinpoint. It's just so complicated that, but no, he didn't discover aberration. Virtual position, maybe it's there, or the actual position is there. The movement in between the two, there's a little Fizeau. He managed in 1849 or 1850, right, to send a beam of light 8 kilometers in one direction, hit a mirror, and bounce back. The return trip, right? 16 kilometers. 1850. Right? 8 kilometers one way. So Fitzy's here. He sends it 8 kilometers in one way. It bounces off of a mirror, right? Bang! And comes back. 16 kilometers. 16 kilometers. And then, wait, it lands on the teeth. I think it was 720 teeth, I think it is. And that's fucking amazing. This is a modern laser. Good one. 10Ks. Right? I'd love to see how this would go. Like if I shot it a mirror, 8Ks away. I'm gonna have to try it, right? Maybe on more part of the beach, I'm not sure how long that is. People. 16 kilometers, right? A light beam before electricity. 1849 or 1850. Alexa, when did Fizeau bounce the light 16 kilometers? 8 kilometers one way, 8 kilometers back. What year?
From Wikipedia.org. The record was checked and validated by Guinness on the 28th of April 2023.
Alexa, Fizeau, who did the discovery of the speed of light, what year was it? Forget this one.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, in 1676, the Danish
Roma.
astronomer Ole Roma became the first person to measure the speed of light.
What are you doing measuring the speed of light? Alexa, Fizeau. When did Fizeau discover the speed of light?
From set.edu, the first successful determination of the speed of light came in 1676.
The first successful. Can you not see how bad this is, right? It's not possible. The first successful measurement of the speed of light, the cornerstone of the speed of light is Roma. It's not, right? Fizeau, 1849. Alexa, when did Fizeau do the speed of light thing, in 1849 or 1850?
From sky4k.com, on the 27th of April 1850, he confirmed that the speed of light was greater as it travelled through the air, seemingly validating the wave theory of light.
1850, yeah? Alexa, what year did electricity come out? When did people start using electricity?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, electricity was first introduced into people's homes near the end of the Victorian period in the late 19th century. The first electric street lights were set up in London in 1878 and are now used almost everywhere in the world.
Nearly 30 years before electricity, right? A beam of light that travelled 16 kilometres And when it got back to him, it landed on the teeth of a spinning wheel, and he therefore was able to work out the speed of light. Laser, 10 kilometers. Whether you like it or not. Then we've got common sense. Common sense. Of all of these things, common sense. You can see it in the sky, right? The eclipse, it's obvious. The planets lining up seems to be obvious. We'll take the bonus point, let's not talk about that. The equation, there's no equation for 299,000. Roma, it's an absurdity. Fitso is an absurdity. So, I'm not sure how this would go in a court. What else have we got? Ah, of course, the bulb, isn't it? We've got the, oh, love it. Right, so we've got the bulb. Now, another point. Takes the sun 4.6 seconds to radiate the light the distance to its diameter. Taking 2 for that. I'm being objective, right? But its diameter, right, takes the sun 4.6 seconds to radiate its light that distance. People keep going, yeah, no, but you're talking inside. No, I'm not. I'm talking from there to there, because it's 108 of those 150 million kilometers. There are 108 sun diameters in between the sun and Earth. So people need to stop talking rubbish and trying to distract by saying, yeah, but that 4.6 seconds, it doesn't take it to go from there to there on the inside. It could take years. Rubbish. I'm talking about from there and radiating its light out. Right? 4.6 seconds. Its diameter. Alexa, what's 108 multiplied by 4.6?
108 times 4.6 is 496.8.
496.8. That's seconds. Your 500 seconds is the 8 minutes and 20 seconds. The reason it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the light to reach us from the sun is because for every diameter of the sun, it's taking it 4.6 seconds. The light bulb, 4.6 seconds for diameter. Now, this took 4.6 seconds for the bulb to radiate light the distance of its diameter. It would go, I don't know if you can see this, 1, 2, 3, 4.6, 1, 2, 3. So it would take 9 seconds, 9.2 seconds to get this far, right? But, basketball court, it would, big gymnasium, little 60-watt bulb, it would light up, it would go into the back, into the toilets, right? You'd see a little shadow. This light, how many diameters in a split second? Thousands, right? In fact, it can't even be timed. But we're talking diameters, right? So it could be said that the bigger we get, the less power we have, right? As we get bigger, get a bit slower, radiate our light slower, right? We don't keep things in proportion, because if that stayed in proportion, that bulb, the sun, the whole solar system, in a heartbeat, right? Now, I don't want to take too many points. You never know, might 299, 792 might make a comeback. Right. Right. It is a well-known fact. Alexa, how far can a mirror reflect the sunlight, the light that's coming from the sun? How far?
From fastcompany.com. When the sun hits the mirrors, the light and heat are reflected and sent to whichever spot you've designated.
Alexa, what distance can a mirror flash the reflection of the sun?
From popsci.com. When used correctly, a mirror can reflect sunlight with life-saving accuracy as far as 7 miles on a clear day to alert potential rescuers of your location.
It's 100 miles. I told you. Alexa, what is the furthest that a mirror will flash the light from the sun to someone?
From fastcompany.com. When the sun hits the mirrors, the light and heat are reflected and sent to whichever spot you've designated.
Alexa, what distance can a mirror reflect the rays from the sun to a person? Is it 100 miles?
From popsci.com. When used correctly, a mirror can reflect sunlight with life-saving accuracy as far as 7 miles on a clear day to alert potential rescuers of your location.
Alexa, mirror sun reflection. What is the distance that a mirror will flash the sun?
From popsci.com. When used correctly,
Alexa, when a mirror reflects the light from the sun, how far away can it be seen in the correct conditions?
From fastcompany.com. When the sun hits the mirrors, the light and heat are reflected and sent to whichever spot you've designated.
Alexa, how far is the furthest that a mirror will flash the light from the sun?
From Brigade.com. The flash signal mirror is proven to produce sun flash that can be seen for up to 100 miles in the right conditions.
See what I mean, right? 12 centimetre mirror, they say smaller than this, 100 miles, right? In an instant, boom. please? I'm not going to know how that came out when I was over the road, but we're taking a point, yeah? 100 miles. And do you know how long it would take? Instant. If you had someone 100 miles away, right? This partition was a big rock cliff face. It went 100 miles. If you were here and that person was 100 miles away, person down there goes like this with a mirror, right? And you both have a button to press when you see that light. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There would be no difference, right? That person 100 miles away will see it at the exact same time as the person here. And if it was the sun, and this was Mercury and Pluto, and there was somebody on Pluto, they would both see it at the same time. This light is absolute. Light from the sun, it's absolute. It doesn't propagate no wave. And if it does, it's a fast wave. So, now, still needing something here. Something that points towards that light being delayed from the sun. Can't think of anything. Can anybody? Well, if you can, comment. If you can, comment. See if you've got something. Oh yeah, that. Something that we can see. Not something that somebody said. Later, peeps.